Hello and welcome to Reality Creative Video, and today we're going to cover a few different things. First off, I need to become limitless. I haven't become limitless yet, so I'm going to take my colloidal gold, a little bit in there, and I like to put the zinc with it also. Okay. Now, I'm going to become limitless. Okay, today I'm making zinc. Two kinds of zinc I make. Zinc 20 to 25 parts per million. You see I'm a little low here. And zinc 40 parts per million. I use 20 to 25 parts per million for drinking, like you just saw. And I use the 40 parts per million for topical stuff, like my colloidal defense, which I showed you. I think I'd get all the props out that I need. The colloidal defense, which I showed you in a previous video. So that's what's happening today. After that, I got to cook some gold. Kind of low on gold. Not very low, but I mean, if someone needs something, that's going to go pretty darn fast. Silver, if I get time, I'm going to cook some more silver. I'm down pretty much the way I am with the gold, with the silver. So in silver, I cook about 15 parts per million. Mostly drinkable silver. So, all right. So what are we going to cover? I got some experiment going on, all right? Look, over here, I started this experiment a few days ago. This is a basil plant. We like to grow our own basil. I did a clipping and put it in some dirt. This is basil with no colloidals. And this is basil with colloidals. So we're going to see how the two do. Which does better? Does the basil with the colloidals do better? Or with the basil without the colloidals do better? Now, I'm rooting for the one with the colloidals, you know. But so far, I mean, if you look at the two of them, the one with the colloidal is not doing as good as the one that's not getting the colloidal. So, could be because of the way I clipped the basil plant. So, we'll have to see in a few days. This experiment's probably going to take a week to fully realize what's going on there. So, I'll let you know if adding colloidals to your plants is going to be beneficial or not. Hey, it's beneficial for the body. It should work for the plants. All right. So, what else do I want to cover? Okay. This is one of those zero water pitchers that they advertise online. So I wanted to get one to play around with it and see what actually is going on with it. So I put well water in here. I put my RO water in here, and pretty much it comes out about the same. Now, when you buy these things, they come with a TDS meter so you can measure them. My thing is would this be a good alternative for distilled water? So anyway, it comes with its own TDS meter, and ironically, okay, when I use their TDS meter, I get got that, get in there. Ironically, I get 0 parts per million when I use my TDS meter, which is a little bit more of an expensive TDS meter than the one that comes with there. I get 1 parts per million. Oh, wait, that didn't hold that long enough for it to record. There we go. It's recorded now. I get 1 parts per million. So, it's pretty darn good. I mean, RO water, my RO water, comes in at 8 parts per million. So, 1 parts per million isn't bad at all if you want to talk about that. But what I did was I put it in the video microscope over there. And you can see that even though it says 1 parts per million, there's stuff that it couldn't filter out. What that stuff is a little bit of a mystery. This is I've picked up some Zephyr Hills distilled water from the store, and of course that's the picture of what that looks like, which is what distilled water should look like, with nothing in it whatsoever. Well, little things floating around. Welcome back to the zero water test. Now, I wanted to do a test on zero water, cooking it with colloidals, so we could have the complete package here. And so that's what I did. 550 milliliters of water, of zero water, and I cooked it. And I'm going to show you the lab sheet from that test. This is the solution that's resulted from it. My aim was for a 12 to 15 parts per million colloidal silver solution, which would be clear. But the cooking process was a little bit different, I guess, because I'm using zero water, and all of the contaminants were not taken out of it. Like distilled water takes all of those contaminants out. So I wasn't prepared for it. It cooked very slowly. And then in the last 10 minutes, it just flash cooked. So I cooked it. It took an hour to hit 6 parts per million. And then it took nearly another 45 minutes before it started reaching 10 parts per million. And I figured I had a little bit more extra time. Well, in 15 minutes, it went from 10 parts per million to 23 parts per million. At which point I was like, holy wow. So I stopped cooking it at that point there. At that point, the water was still clear, but I knew 23 parts per million, it was going to turn brown. And sure enough, several hours later, it turned brown. So I've never actually gotten this shade of brown before. So this is weird. I don't know if it's because of the zero filter elements, the zero water elements, that it couldn't filter out because we didn't actually distill the water, or I don't know. I just random luck. I'm thinking it's because of the uncertain elements that the filter could not filter out, or that the filter put in there. Because like I said, the way these drip filters work is you put water. It's coming apart on me. You put water in the top here, and then they drip down through the bottom, and it gets all cleared. But it has to go through filters, chemical filtration, if you want to call it that. It goes through fiber filters, and then I'm sure there's a carbon filter in there, and it may even be a sulfur filter, and who knows what else in there. Well, that's going to leave tiny dissolved particles in the solution. Even though they say it's 0 parts per million, we know it tested at 1 parts per million because we measured it. So something was left behind. And we saw the picture on the video microscope earlier, not that picture, that there definitely was stuff left behind in the water from the zero water. So, anyway, I took a picture of this stuff. This measures out to 23 parts per million on the microscope, which is over there in that picture, and I'll show you a picture up here. It looks anywhere between a 20 to 25 parts per million solution. But what's a little strange about it is the particle size. The particle size is much smaller than I anticipated for a 20 to 25 parts per million solution. But that's all the material we actually used in the baking of it, so there can't be any more in there, is what I'm saying. So the contaminants definitely changed the colloidal silver result by using zero water. But that said, I still think this brownish zero water is perfectly good to use. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just if you're going to use zero water, you may have to adjust your timings and other things for your end result. Me, personally, I'm going to stick with my distilled water. It has less unknowns to it, but I did want to do the zero water test, so that completes the zero water test. And just want you guys to know that later on in the week, we will be revisiting the basil test as we see what happens with those plants. So, thank you very much for visiting and listening to my radio show and taking part of my life. I'm Hermes. This is Reality Creative Video, and I will talk to you again soon.